Before COVID-19 affected the entire world, thousands of people in Hong Kong march in protest as they reject the extradition bill. Today we're going to talk about a murder case that directly sparked the protest. Amber Poon was born on May 5, 1997 in Hong Kong. At the time of her death, she was 20 years old. The man who murdered her was Tony Chan, a new immigrant from Shenzhen, China. He was 19 years old. Both of them were school dropouts at the time they met. Amber, a high school dropout, was subsequently dropped from a beauty school and then a business school. On the other hand, Tony was studying human resources when he dropped out of the course. The two of them met while working for the same company. They started an intimate relationship 1 month after dating. One of Amber's neighbors told reporters that the couple were often spotted making out in secluded spots near Amber's house. By the end of 2017, Amber was 5 weeks pregnant. After she told Tony about the pregnancy, he wasn't happy. Their relationship started to drift apart. To make matters worse, fights and arguments often break out between the two. Towards the end of 2017, Tony arranges a vacation to Taiwan. He told Amber he hoped the trip would bring them closer. Nobody knows if it was Tony's plot to kill Amber or if he was really trying to make things right. Soon after, Amber told her mom she would be going to Taiwan from February 8th to February 17th. Due to Amber's mom's disapproval of their relationship, Amber did not tell her she was going with Tony. Instead, she told her she was going with a friend, but did not divulge the identity of the person accompanying her. On the 8th of February, the couple landed in Taiwan. In the first week of vacation, they did what any other couple would have done. They had sex in the hotel they stayed in, visited different tourist attractions, bought a lot of stuff, and savored the local food. During this time, Amber's social media was updated constantly with all the loving pictures of Tony and her. On February 16th, the night before the couple were to fly back to Hong Kong, they went to one of Taipei's night markets and bought a pink suitcase. It was believed that the pink suitcase was initially intended to put all the items the couple had bought in Taiwan. Amber messaged her mother at 1:21 a.m. on February 17th that she would be back in Hong Kong later that night. According to Tony's police statement, Amber and him got into an argument, during which Amber revealed that the baby she was carrying was not his, but her ex's. She also showed Tony a video of her having sex with another man. Feeling enraged, Tony smashed her head against the hotel wall and choked her with his bare hands. They fought for 10 minutes until Tony managed to choke her to death. Tony claimed that he was outraged over Amber's infidelity. Killing her was in the heat of the moment. Feeling exhausted after the fight, Tony went to bed after putting Amber's body in the pink suitcase they had bought hours ago. The next morning, Tony cleaned up the room, packed all his stuff, and left with the pink suitcase with Amber's body in it. He went on to dispose of Amber's belongings in garbage bins around the hotel, keeping her ATM card, her digital camera, and her cell phone. Tony then dragged the pink suitcase with Amber's body inside into the Taipei subway station. After a 40-minute ride, he got off at Juwei Station and dumped Amber's body into the Tamsui River. After dumping Amber's body, Tony heads straight to the airport for his flight departure back to Hong Kong. Amber's parents felt something was odd when their daughter did not return on February 17th. Desperate to know Amber's whereabouts, they contacted Tony. Tony told them Amber and he got into an argument in Taiwan, and he left without her. He also told them not to contact him again as he wanted nothing to do with Amber. On March 5, 2018, 3 weeks after Amber went missing, with no leads and no one to turn to, Amber's parents went to the police station to file a missing person report. On March 11, 2018, 23 days after Amber went missing, her father flew to Taipei to file a missing person report and seek help from the Purple Garden Hotel. With the help of the hotel staff, Amber's father and Taiwan police managed to review the CCTV footage. The CCTV footage showed Amber and Tony entering the hotel on February 16th. But only Tony left the next morning, dragging the pink suitcase behind him. Taiwan's Criminal Investigation Bureau contacted counterparts in Hong Kong, who summoned Tony for questioning. On March 13th, After hours of police interrogation, Tony breaks down during the interrogation and confesses to killing Amber. He also revealed the location where he dumped Amber's body. Tony was immediately placed under arrest. On the same day, Taiwanese authorities found Amber's decomposing body after a 3-hour search. DNA testing further confirmed that the decomposing body was Amber. Forensics also discovered a 2 cm bone in the womb of Amber's body, which indicates she was pregnant during the time of her death. The pink suitcase used for transporting Amber's body was found at Taoyuan Airport a few months later by a woman who worked as a janitor at the airport. Apparently, before the suitcase was found, Tony had lied to the Taiwanese police about its location several times, since the murder was committed in Taiwan and not Hong Kong. The Hong Kong police could not prosecute him for murder or manslaughter. To make matters worse, since Hong Kong and Taiwan do not share an extradition treaty, the Hong Kong police could not extradite Tony to Taiwan, even though Taiwan prosecutors issued a warrant for Tony's arrest. Without an extradition treaty, there was little chance of Tony being sent to Taiwan. Tony was only charged with 4 counts of money laundering for the money he withdrew from Amber's account after using her stolen ATM card. Tony pled guilty to all 4 counts, and he was sentenced to 29 months in prison. In April of 2019, to allow Hong Kong's government to extradite Tony to Taiwan, Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam proposed a law allowing for fugitive extraditions not only to Taiwan, but also to China and Macau, which are currently excluded from the existing laws. The proposed extradition bill was met with strong protest in Hong Kong. Many Hong Kong people think the bill will allow China to abuse the system by arresting innocent people in Hong Kong and extraditing them to China without giving them a fair trial. From April to October, protests escalate and become a weekly occurrence. During this time, hundreds of thousands of protesters marched in the streets and called for Chief Executive Carrie Lam to step down. A few days before Tony was released from prison, the Hong Kong government released a statement stating that they had no jurisdiction over his alleged crimes in Taiwan without the extradition bill. In other words, there was no chance for Tony to be charged for the murder of Amber Poon in Hong Kong. A day before Tony released from prison, Taiwan offered to take him back to Taiwan for his trial under escort by Taiwanese officials. But Hong Kong rejected the offer, stressing that Taiwanese officials have no law enforcement power in Hong Kong. The only way for Tony to be charged is if he traveled to Taiwan and surrendered himself to the Taiwanese authorities in person. Meanwhile, Taiwan released a statement saying that if Tony wishes to plead guilty to this crime, he can apply for a visa at their office in Hong Kong. On October 23, 2019, the Hong Kong Secretary for Security announced the government's formal withdrawal of the bill. It was also the same day that Tony Chan was released from prison after serving 29 months. On the day of his release, in front of the media, Tony bowed and apologized to Amber Poon's family and Hong Kong society for the unrest he had caused, and asked for forgiveness. He also told the media he would voluntarily surrender himself to the Taiwanese authorities for the murder crime he had committed. Tony was accompanied by a reverend canon, who told the media that Tony would delay his surrender as the case had become a sensitive political issue. With Taiwan closing its borders to non-residents due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Tony remains in Hong Kong. In the fall of 2021, the Reverend Canon, who has been assisting Tony, told Amber's mother that Tony would surrender himself to the Taiwanese authorities. But Tony did not keep his word. Meanwhile, the Hong Kong government still refuses to do anything about the case, stating there is nothing much they can do. As of November 2021, Tony Chan Tong Kai, the man who brutally murdered his pregnant girlfriend in 2018, is still a free man. Personally, I believe Tony had planned the murder from the start. Maybe he did not want to bear the responsibility of the child, so killing Amber became part of his plan. The large suitcase that was purchased on the last night of their stay must be part of Tony's plan to transport Amber's body out of the hotel. I think Tony must have lied to Amber that it was used to bring all the stuff they had bought in Taiwan. No one would ever know if Tony was telling the truth or not. What we do know is that, till today, justice is not being served for the victim and her family. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.